Ladies and gentlemen, we have an urgent announcement. And this is actually coming from multiple news sources urging folks, warning, prepare, do not put yourself in any possibly dangerous situations that could ultimately require the need of immediate emergency assistance or ambulance care. Ambulance workers are set to go on strike, if not already on strike, citing intense circumstances as they relate to high inflation, rising prices, and the inability to keep up with wages. So reports are coming in from the UK of ambulance workers warning folks to be careful. Don't engage in any risky behavior that could potentially require transport to a hospital or an emergency room. And this is actually set to carry on after Christmas as well. And they are pushing for increased wages, trying to battle the rising costs, the rising prices of inflation, and the struggles of paying for basic necessities, food, water, shelter, healthcare being one of them. Prices are going up. This is not just in the U.S. This is happening all over the world. Some countries are seeing higher inflation percentages in comparison to here in the U.S. Some are not as bad. Some are actually worse. But with that being said, we are seeing some of the fabric of our society, our basic society, breaking down on pretty much a consistent and regular basis. Sorry, it's walking through Disney is like it's like a maze. There's always somebody, just like people are starstruck and watching the bubbles. But so just breaking news coming out of Associated Press, Fox News, a few other outlets reporting that ambulance workers have officially declared that they are calling it quits until they can, perhaps maybe make some form of impact on those who are cutting the checks and saying that they are going to not be available. So, warning many folks, do not engage in heavy drinking, remain sober, do not engage in any activities that could potentially hurt, harm, break any bones, sprains, fractures, any of the sort, because they will not be there to assist. Now, they said that this is not 100% a complete walkout, but it would have to be an extremely life-threatening situation in order for anyone to have the ability to have an ambulance worker come to their aid and their rescue. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to put myself in a situation or a position to have to negotiate my care and my transport for, medical attention with perhaps maybe a 911 emergency phone operator and trying to gauge and weight the severity of my injury with the limited ambulance worker staff as a result of this strike. And we saw strikes or threats of strikes here in the U.S. when it came to the railroad workers and ultimately crippling our supply chain and shutting down nearly 30%, like a third of the U.S. supply chain, with railroad workers potentially going on strike for the main driving force behind this. I think it was out of four of the railroad workers unions that accounted for a majority of the railroad workers in percentage of actual people for the demand for paid sick time off. Ironically, just to take care of their health and make doctor's visits, dentist visits, take their children for healthcare visits, or if they just happen to get ill unexpectedly without being negatively affected. And ironically, you see something like this happening over across the pond, UK. Inversely, those who are there to help and aid and assist in keeping people healthy and safe are in fact taking off and striking themselves. But at the same time, now the U.S. railroad workers, and also there were reports I shared with you guys about railroad strikes in the U.K. as well. So this is actually a growing global problem. And at the end of the day, folks are not happy with their income. They're not happy with their employment situations. They're not happy with how the employers and perhaps maybe even the government is handling the situation, and are going to put their foot down and try to do something about it. Now, with that being said, this could backfire and end up hurting them in the long run, because all it's going to do is potentially further disrupt their income with the time off that they are taking for these strikes, and not receiving pay. Here in the U.S., railroad workers that ultimately are now taking time off despite the negative retaliation from the railroad companies are seeing that a sick day will turn into a sick week. For example, if you needed to take a sick day off, and this is from what has been shared with me by several railroad workers, is if you need to take a sick day off, they're going to take disciplinary action and retaliate and say, okay, well, you're taking a week off. So a sick day, being unpaid at that, turns into a week off from work. So not only are you losing your income, your pay from missing out those days on the clock, but you're also being hit with the points or deduction or reduction of points that ultimately go against you overall with the points system that the railroad unions are have in place. Now, the folks over in UK, the ambulance workers going on strike, this is not good, folks, and now would be a great time to just sit tight, stay safe, stay in good health as best you can, because these folks will not be out and about to come to the aid and rescue of those who are dialing 911 or whatever emergency number it is for the UK. I don't know if they have 911 as the emergency number in the UK, but it's not a time, in my opinion, that you would want to be anywhere laid up hoping that an ambulance is going to come to your rescue and scoop you up and transport you to the hospital. But this could have a huge lasting effect on the difference in the changes that could possibly result, and ultimately good or bad if they'll actually receive the increase in wages that they're hoping for. I'm going to continue to keep my eye on this and monitor and bring you guys updates on it. If you have any information that you could share, please feel free, drop a comment down below. Appreciate it. Bye.